All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Of the Devil. It's been a while because, as you can see, I was sick and I'm still recovering from illness. Jeez Louise. Last time, things in court came to a really heated argument when Morgan revealed that the victim was not such a pristine, clean officer as everyone in the audience thought he was. But in fact, he was doing favors for the Blue Bloods. And the police in the audience did not like that so much that, in fact, one of them tried to shoot Morgan, but was stopped and shot himself by the detective. And that is where we were picking up. Hoo boy. Yeah, we're restarting from our newest save right here. Okay, I've taken 60 seconds to yell into a couch pillow, so... Oh, maybe now one of you could tell me what the hell happened out there? How did that man get into the courtroom, the building, and with a weapon like whatever the hell that was?
With his own arm, Madame Belrose. Not illegally, it's some literal chop shop. Fully prosthetic, but fairly low-tech. Used a simple air intake system and projectiles made of enamel.
Damn. Enamel as in teeth. Where on earth do these people?
Doesn't trigger any metal detectors. Looks organic from the outside. But if you're aiming at flesh, it gets the job done.
And are metal detectors all that stand between a crazed gunman and the law of the land?
No, Your Honor. We're looking into it now. Well, we already found some discrepancies in the personnel files of courthouse security team members. He probably got his hands on a key card. Lost, bought, or stolen. And had it modified to get him in the building.
Would that work?
Only needs to work once. This time it did. I doubt he expected to leave alive, so... You ask me, we're lucky he struck with something more direct instead of an explosive.
This is a nightmare. What am I supposed to do now? Hello, Mirage. Welcome to the stream.
The jury must be horrified. I don't know how we could proceed.
As I recall, the adjutant cut their feed the moment Officer Rogers mentioned the Hound of Icaria. So they didn't actually see the shooting. Well, that's small miracles there. And by the way, how does a patrol officer know that my client is the lead suspect in that case? Would anyone like to explain that to me? Well...
You'd have to ask organized crimes. The mood around Rogers has been, celebratory. I'd imagine there were plenty of cops eager to describe in detail what he'd achieved by catching Sosuke red-handed.
Allegedly.
There's no presumption of innocence in station locker rooms and cop bars, Counselor.
So the OC department buys Rogers a round of drinks. And 24 hours later, I've got a shooter in my courtroom. Who was he?
Shooter's been ID'd as Bowen Bresson, low-level muscle in the Blue Blood Mafia. Priors for possession, dealing, assault.
Attempting to carry out an assassination in a courtroom full of cops is quite the setup. Any connection to Creek's pod?
Older generation, different part of town. Not exactly thick as thieves. So trying
to execute Sosuke wasn't some act of revenge. He was given orders. Yes, that's very interesting, but it's a job for the police to handle.
Counselor Morgan, I assume you'll be filing for mistrial?
Oh, sorry, goddammit. Counselor Morgan, I assume you'll be filing for a mistrial. About that, I feel it's in my client's best interest for the trial to continue. What? Damn. What has she got going on here? A blue blood gunman just tried to shoot him. But the jury didn't see that. All they know right now is that they've been given a long lunch. You too. The goal, Your Honor, as I've always understood it, is for a defense attorney to do what's best for their client. Right now, clearly, the Blue Blood Mafia is convinced my client killed 4 of their men. And every cop in the city thinks he killed Officer Chopin. If he walks on a mistrial, he won't be able to walk down the street without getting shanked. Sosuke Ikaria doesn't need a mistrial. He needs a media blackout. Hello, Olga, welcome to the stream. I really hate that term. She's right, Your Honor. If the story spreads that the Blue Bloods tried to assassinate Sosuke, every juror in the city will assume he's guilty. We won't be able to find anyone over the age of 10 who hasn't heard of him, let alone put together 12 unbiased peers to judge him. Even if that's true, and if that's possible, and even if it's possible, what you're asking for is... Detective, is the building still in lockdown?
Standard procedures just to keep it that way another half hour.
We would have to. The stands were full of police officers, and any one of them could...
Ambulance chases will pay prime for a story this rich. Someone's gonna break rank.
We don't need the blackout to last forever. We just need it to be intimidating enough that the story doesn't leak until the trial's over. Which will be when, exactly? We could finish tomorrow. There aren't that many witnesses left on the docket. Finished tomorrow? Yes, Your Honor. Fine, yes, we'll have a blackout. A big, scary old blackout like with the shadowy masters of the bloody universe. Happy? Perfectly. Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, follow me. You'll need my authorization to activate the building's blanket protocols.
Right behind you, man.
Surprised to be arguing for the same thing as you for once. Thanks for not gagging from the effort. Any other defense attorney in the city would have taken the mistrial. Dump the Hunnificati on some other idiot's doorstep and cash their check. Some other idiot, huh? Or is it that you can't dump him? You under house arrest already? I haven't felt threatened by them. That could change fast if you fail them. How's Decadia a high society, haven't you heard? And I'm beneath their notice. I don't think they'd bother to axe me just for underperforming. Sounds like exactly the kind of thing that high society types would do. Going this far for your client, though. You know me. Defender of the weak, champion of the downtrodden. I go through a lot more than this to keep my face out of the papers. Hopefully when the story does eventually leak, the focus should be entirely on Sosuke. But if this means people start recognizing me, remembering me, Bo and Bresson will be glad London did him in one. I twist the knife slow as a second hand if he... You okay? Compared to you? I guess not. I've never seen anyone get shot before. Oh. Right. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. That was... Maybe I'm feeling jealous. I spend all this time poring over crime scenes and diagrams. Trying to get inside the head of heartbreak of all people, and maybe I get into my head that I'm some kind of unfeeling badass. Just to freeze up like a deer at the sight of actual violence. I'll need to get over that. Do you? Do you need to get over it? I have a responsibility. A prosecutor isn't a hangman, Emma. No. If a hangman does their job right, the neck snaps and the subject's dead, but the pain never reaches their brain. If I do my job right, Sosuke Kadia spends the rest of his life drooling on himself, while Megs haggle over the property rights to his gray matter. If you feel that bad about it, you could always recommend a lesser sentence. That's just the thing. I've never felt that bad about it at all. Runs in the family. Oh damn, we're getting Emma backstory here. The way she whispered it in that half-stuttering sigh. I'm not sure she even heard it herself. Huh. What is going on here? August 15th, 2086, 4:08 p.m. State Building, floor 48.
Alright, this should free up your phone from the blanket.
Thank you, Detective London.
You're, welcome, Counselor Morgan. Something I said?
You didn't say anything yesterday about what the Hound of Arcadia really is.
Come on. There's a lot of code names to remember. Would you believe me if I said I didn't put two and two together?
Maybe I would, if I hadn't seen you act that fast back in the courtroom.
That was a lucky shot.
From across the room with the crowd moving around him.
Yeah. Real lucky.
I know, I'm agreeing with you. Though it would be a lot less lucky if you were, say, already watching him. Did you know?
No. But I'm flattered you think I'm brave enough to stick around for a shooting that I knew would happen.
But you recognized him.
Tickle a spot in the back of my brain, even as in disguise. It helped that the guy was fidgeting around all day.
Bresson had been in the courtroom all day. How long had he waited to take a shot?
Did you get a good look at him?
I did not. You shot him very fast.
Eyes bloodshot to hell and back. Nosebleed, flushed extremities. He was as high as a drone. Probably metahexaphenolin, considering how well the Blue Bloods have done pushing it.
Metahex. Nirvana. The party drug that college kids are huffing.
For a long time since I was in college. Guess it could be good for a party in small doses. I'm hypothesizing here. Don't take this out of context.
Sure.
But at higher doses? A couple of months ago I saw this guy stumbling around one of the open markets. Eyes dilated, mouth moving a block a minute. He knocked over some bicycles, so I cuffed him to the rack, hoping he'd sober up within the hour and I could move on. I took a phone call, and when I looked back, he was trying to chew through the chain. He broke 4 teeth, and he had started biting his arm by the time I knocked him out.
Ew.
But anecdotes are cheap. One bad trip will hardly slow the ball down now that it's rolling.
You believe the hype? Think they're going to legalize it?
Within the next 2 quarters, if you ask me.
What'll happen to the Blue Bloods monopoly?
Up in smoke. Pharma megs and dispensaries of the world will step in to reap the rewards. And the Blue Bloods will have to slink off and cook up some other haze to push. The gray tide rolls on.
The Blue Bloods have legitimate income sources, right? Like Sionis?
Yep. Some of them are even pretty profitable, like their host clubs and pink rooms.
So if the Blue Bloods can run those businesses just fine, why can't they stay in control of Nirvana once it's legalized?
There's competition and name recognition, and locale and real estate and, basically, they can't afford it. The buy-in's too steep, and everyone past the door likes it that way. Legal drugs are a whole other realm of profitable. Folks like the Acadia do not want to share.
Gee, not even on special occasions.
Well, like I told you, there was that meeting last year, but
But their playdate fell apart.
hey, what you said back there in court about Prop 492? You'll really buy that? Tariq Chopin, working with the Blue Bloods?
It's quite the unlikely pairing, I'll admit. But that might explain why it ended the way it did.
So what was the verdict?
The verdict is only handed down after the jury's finished deliberating. That may take... The show must go on.
And the shooter?
Getting introduced to the accommodations down at the morgue right about now. He was some blue blood muscle named Bresson. Ring a bell?
As I've said, all these Blue Bloods are real.
He tried to shoot you, Sosuke. And I was standing very close to you when it happened. I'd like a little more detail than that.
I've never met him, never heard of him. That's the truth. But the Bresson family is known to be enforcers for Blue Blood leadership.
So it's the old guard who wants you dead. Does that make the young bloods an enemy of an enemy?
Didn't you tell me Creek was a young blood? Considering what I'm on trial for, I doubt they're fond of me either.
God damn it, Sosuke. Who doesn't hate your ass? I need to try harder to disregard the nonsense that comes out of the adjutant's mouth. It might be starting to sink in. Sosuke, you were captured when you could have been ignored. You were tortured when you could have been ransomed. And now these people are trying to kill you in one of the most secure buildings in the city. What are they after? Why are you at the top of the blue blood shit list? Is it because of... Safety save! Last year's meeting. Is it because of what happened a year ago? Hit the head on the nail.
How do you know about...
What happened a year ago? A meeting between the old guard and the house, apparently. You were going to work out a deal for the Icarian network to distribute a blue blood product.
Why would we want the basement cook swill the blue bloods make sold in our storefronts? Our pharmacies?
You wouldn't. Not until after Nirvana is legalized. Yes, I figured some stuff out. Stop pouting.
There was a meeting last year, yes. A private meeting that was to be kept strictly confidential. The IFG met with the old guard to discuss a deal. It fell apart. Voices were raised, weapons drawn. I was in the shadows, and I stepped in front of a blade from Makoto.
Damn.
The house elders were perturbed afterwards. They feared for Makoto's safety and perhaps felt that they had grown overconfident. The hound is a useful tool, but not indispensable. So they ordered me to guard Makoto full-time.
Isn't that a great honor? Guarding the heir to the headship?
Of course it is.
Then why do you sound like that? You get points for picking up on it, but you need to learn how to take advantage of it. So your deal fell apart. Blood was drawn. I kind of assumed that was par for the course in your world.
It's not unheard of.
So why are the old guards still trying to kill you and Makoto a year later?
I don't know! I don't know, Morgan. Because I'm not an old guard.
Is there someone we could talk to who is? There's always someone. For a prize. But if that's how it's going to go... I'm gonna need a drink first. Here to join? What are you talking about? Oh, this is her high school detective club thing. Here to join? What are you talking about? Sorry, disappointment was out. I was here first. Oh, here's another Ace Attorney, like, it's all being about, like, their school experiences. Then that's slow shit in this wing of school. No one else comes here if they don't have to. So it's a quiet spot to read. Yeah, it is a detective mystery. So what? Like 5% of the books in the library are. Well, it's not like I own the room. If you want to convene your club meetings here with all your many members, I can't exactly sue you. Especially not since you're going to be some big shot lawyer. Join your club so I won't get evicted? Isn't that like blackmail, counselor? Mutually beneficial, sure. So it's just plain old corruption. You'll do fine out there in the adult world. Whatever. As long as you don't go around telling people I'm a member, you can put me down. We need to add our phone numbers too. No, I don't actually care. Huh. What is it all leading up to the high school shit? I really want to know. Is something wrong? Why would you think that something's wrong? It's very unusual for you to wake up mid-transit. When you decide to nap, you fall asleep very fast and you sleep very deeply. Damn. Suspiciously so. Sometimes I'll try to wake you and I could swear you're just pretending. I've no idea what you're talking about. Besides, you're the one who's been quiet. I had been bothering Sosuke, I think. Pestering about him about catching bullets. If you were bothering Sosuke, he'd say it. Oh my god. I felt that way too. Like if like someone you respect and you're like asking things like if you're bothering them, it's like you feel really bad. Oh my god. Oh, Sarah, I know how that feels. Turn to the side in that bitchy pose of his. But I can't catch a bullet either. Even though I'm fast. And I can see fast. Sosuke was the one who acted while I just... Sosuke's trained for that exact kind of thing. Trained for his whole life, the way he tells it. Father felt me to be strong. I should be able to... David didn't build you to be anything, Sarah. He didn't even really build you. Just watched you grow. And do you think I'm still growing? Still developing? You think I could get taller? I think you shouldn't get your hopes up about that. Why would you want to be taller? Come on, you can bounce back faster than that. I'm sorry. I suppose I am still processing what we saw back in the courtroom. When Detective London took out that shooter. I know that Detective London has been a police officer for many years. It stands to reason that he'd act decisively in circumstances where so many lives are at risk. What I'm still thinking about is the man he killed. Yes, but there's only so much speculating we can do about his motive until... I'm not thinking about his motive. I'm thinking about how he is dead. You haven't been out and about that long. Everything's new to you, even the most ordinary stuff. Guess I forgot that includes the extraordinary, too. You've seen violence like that before, then? Yes, I have. Seen people die? Yes, I have. Seen more people die than most your age? Most lawyers? Probably a safe bet. God damn. This is a private subject, isn't it? Death is always private. I'm no exception. Do people ever get used to it? I can only speak for myself. Have you gotten used to it? Every time is like the first time. I hope that everyone is like you, then. Oh God, Sarah. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing anyone should get used to. Sorry to disappoint you, then. There are no people like me. What happened? What is up with her past? Fucking hell, man.
Irashai.
Irashai.
To what do I owe the pleasure of hosting my two favorite girls?
One Sarah, who's the other?
Figment of my imagination, apparently. Do you want something to drink?
What do you recommend?
I just got in this case of beautiful Tony deep reds from volcanic soil across the sea. Savory and full with notes of cherry and oak.
Sounds delicious. You just described a tree down to the dirt. Well, I would very much like to try it. Sorry, you're underage.
She's an android.
A very realistic one. What's to say you to customers who walk in and see you drinking at the counter? You're shy?
Two waters coming right up. Wait, back up. Your client is the Hound of Icadia?
And I was the last person to find out what that actually means.
It should be easy enough to tell whether he did the deed or not. Hound always leaves a calling card.
Oh, really? Pray tell. So I hear. Is that literal?
Stark white business card, laid neatly on the ground with the house's insignia.
I don't understand why the house would go to such lengths to let the victims know who attacked them.
These new ability types. No lives at galas and boardrooms and cocktail parties and wine tastings.
Torture.
Where every sentence has a front and back side to it and never glances a whole unspoken clause. For them, an unambiguous act of violence is an exclamation point they can't misconstrue. And the Icardia aren't exactly at the top of their nobility pecking order. Reminding the others that they've still got their fangs is a viable strategy. They know they're outclassed in terms of how many mountains of gold they have.
That doesn't explain why such a supposedly great assassin has gotten made on more than one occasion.
Well, he's probably just doing his job there. If all he needed was to get away with murder, he'd be a poisoner or a sniper. All the major houses love to use body doubles. If he kills a target behind closed doors, their house can just bring out a spare. Oh hell, claim the entire thing never happened. But if the hound kills where a house's rivals can see, the damage sticks.
You know a lot about the nobility, don't you, boss? Are you considered part of that neo-aristocracy?
Do I look like I got that kind of sway? I don't run a bar in Midtown as a hobby, kid.
Wouldn't know it looking at how profitable your wine section is.
It'll catch on.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just the tail end of the sickness just takes a while. Don't worry about it, Olga. The hound was a nasty surprise, but the big reveal isn't making anything click for me.
Blue blood assassin trying to miss him mid-trial. I don't get it either. But the blue bloods aren't as rational as they used to be.
Used to be.
I traded them a good deal when I was younger, and they were richer.
Yeah, so it's just the tail end of the sickness. Traded what?
Stock tips.
Oh. This was before the Icaria cut them down.
I was a young man, hungry to establish myself, and the Blue Bloods were the biggest game in town. Russ weren't even a twinkle in some psychopunk's eye back then. And the Icaria cartel were just that. Drug smugglers and dope runners. Blue Bloods just use them as couriers.
A reversal of fortune.
Could be their names on opera houses and hospitals across the city today if...
If what? If the Icaria hadn't killed them all. But didn't they have allies? Connections?
Morgues were overflowing with cerulean blood. No one wanted anything to do with them.
But they were the victims.
Corporate partners are risk averse. Political alliances require you to bring something to the table. When we fall that far that fast, common folk assume it happened for a reason.
They thought that the Blue Bloods deserved it just because it happened to them.
All that was left were the old-timers, the grandparents, and the great-uncles. All suddenly without heirs. They recruited latchkeys and orphans during the Red Decade. Found family that became the first gens, and then the young bloods.
What about the money? Sorry. What about the money? You are starting to sound like a real human.
Some of it. Cash, the gold, the jewels. The Ikari just stole. But the vast majority of it was held overseas where it was safe, untouchable.
In one of those DNA locks, right?
And impossible to get your hands on without the right blood.
Yep. Lock behind GFA.
Getting butchered by the Ikari was a bad beating. But losing that money was unforgivable. Rest of the blue blood mafia around the world never accept them back in the fold until their recovery.
Damn.
Exiled from paradise because they tempted fate with their hubris. There's a certain poetic charm to it, no?
It would have to be a very sobering poem.
Those are the ones you remember, aren't they? Probably why the Blue Bloods are still humming the same old hymns, bashing out the same ghost stories and urban legends.
They did seem to be a surprisingly superstitious bunch. Crossing their fingers over the red hood and... Hey, what's a little lord?
There's another one. New spin on one of the oldest tales in the book. Promised Prince. Believes that exactly one kid survived the fall of the leaves. One lone heir to all the fortune the Blue Bloods lost. Got spirited away overseas or out west to be raised in secret. One day you'll come back to reclaim what's rightfully... You know, I'm guessing you heard this one before.
Is there any truth to it?
Oh, God certainly seemed to think so. Need to think so. Probably what's keeping them alive. They can just hold on another 5 years, they'll finally find the heir they've been looking for.
Sorry.
And they can rectify decades of embarrassment and shame. Thinking like that is what makes young blood start talking about maybe the old guard doesn't care about what happens to us.
What do they expect? Blood's thicker than water. The original full expression is thought to be the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That actually suggests that the camaraderie between those who fought together is stronger than simply sharing a common relative. So it, wow, really originally had the opposite meaning? That's crazy. Yes, well, if that were actually true, then maybe people wouldn't have amputated the expression centuries ago.
Still, it's 30 years of water. Or blood covenant, if you prefer, that we're talking about. Youngbloods give their lives to the Mafia. Each of them had to choose it over their own family. It's a pretty raw deal just cut him loose because some sheltered kid, only valuable for his DNA, decided to show up after all these years.
Oh my god. They think that's the police officer guy. Because oh wow. So that could be the victim. Huh. Oh damn. You think the old guard would throw away the Youngbloods if it meant reuniting with their little lord?
I know it, and so do the Youngbloods.
Huh. I wonder if the killer then is the lady that we were talking with. The blue blood lady that showed us the crime scene. That doesn't seem to be a dynamic that incentivizes them to look very hard for this little lord. No, it incentivizes them to smother the royal bastard. If I assume my client is innocent, that means someone else killed Tariq Chopin. Someone who didn't do it in self-defense.
Tariq Chopin? You mean the son of the city councilman?
Adopted son. His parents are government officials. Even if they're loaded, the Mob Act can't protect all their records. Sarah, look this guy up. What do you want to know? About his adoption. I want to know about his adoption. His fathers adopted him in 2066, after 3 months of visits to gospel home orphanages. A private philanthropic institution that is no longer in business. Bankrupt or bought out? Bankrupt. Damn it. If they had just gotten swallowed, the parent company might have kept their records. The adoption itself was somewhat of an event. There are multiple news articles and photos of it.
Not trying to cast doubt on the realness of their connection. They wouldn't be career politicians if they let a photo of that good pass them by.
Unless they wanted to draw attention away from who they were adopting, and... No. A child showing up quietly in a politician's life looks guilty as sin. They wouldn't let people think, this isn't useful, and goes in circles all day speculating about this. How old was he? His age is listed as 27, but the entry has been edited a number of times. There has been a great deal of back and forth between database contributors in the last 36 hours over the additional and removal of an asterisk. It seems his original birth certificate was lost. Well, that's shady as hell.
Only God.
Here it comes.
If he was an orphan 27 years ago, that's pretty firmly in the red decade. Lots of paperwork was getting lost back then.
That's a kind way of putting it. What would be an unkind way of putting it? The governments of the world were scrambling. What was his education? Tariq Chopin had a law degree. Who gets a law degree and then becomes a patrol officer?
Son of a politician. It's not a bad path. Your superiors know you're connected and smart and can recognize when the law is being broken. They'll keep you far away from anything real. and coach for a year and then move into politics as a veteran of the force who's hard on crime.
London did mention he was far too principled to be likable or reliable. If joining up with the police was nothing but a calculated move, that means he had a clear plan for what to do after. And it probably didn't involve defrauding the city in a real estate scheme.
I can think of a few reasons why a cop would get murdered at the scene of a crime like that.
But Tariq Chapin wasn't just some ordinary cop. The strongest motive of that comes to mind is...
Wait, you really think?
You think Chopin was the little lord?
You're the last person I'd expect to believe in fairy tales, Red.
Can you honestly say it doesn't fit?
If we for a moment assume that unicorns and dragons and Tsuchinokos are real.
What do you mean? Tsuchinokos are very well documented. I can show you.
And yeah, it's possible that Chopin was a little lord.
And if any young blood knew it, they'd want him dead. To prevent the old guard from abandoning them.
Three thoughts come to mind. One, this is all guesswork on your part. Even the most zealous youngblood wouldn't offer God just because he happened to be about 30 years old and adopted.
They would have had to have seen something that at least suggested it.
Two, as I recall, the only youngblood you know of is this Creek guy.
And Creek was dead before Chopin ever even entered the building.
Clears his name pretty handily.
The only young blood I know.
Three, I can think of at least one other group that killed to prevent the little lord from reclaiming his throne.
Oh, really? House Icaria.
Who better to cut them down than the most loyal rook?
Hello, twat, welcome to the stream. And that would neatly explain why the old god would be pissed enough to try and kill Sosuke in a courtroom. Unfortunately.
Stay positive. Just because the old god thinks Sosuke killed their precious heir doesn't mean he actually did.
Yes.
Hey, Sarah, give me some footage of get some footage of me making this next one. I'm over in the corner.
Boss?
Shooting promo. Oh, I just found this hidden gem where this guy made the best drinks ever. That kind of thing. Where it's kind of cheap and fake, but like you're in on the joke and it's not pretending to be genuine.
Boss, with the number of followers Kensuke has, a video longer than 9 seconds posted at this time of day.
I don't want to hear that depressing shit. Cross post or whatever.
Does it have to be that corner? The lighting will be bad.
Any corner. Make sure it's from a distance.
From a distance? Wouldn't it be better framed if...
It'll look like shaky can't found footage. More legit that way.
My hands do not shake, but I'll try. What are you doing?
Making you a drink, obviously.
That's quite the treat. Why?
But we got some heavy shit to discuss. Starts with ice. What do we do with crushed ice at Kintsugi, Sarah?
Kick it under the fridge.
Exactly. Rock ice are nothing when you're mixing a cocktail.
Hang on, you taught her that?
There's a drain under there.
Not in my kitchen. When the ice melted warps the floorboard.
Half a lime juice. They know what's in the second half. I'm using here, Sarah. Red likes it tired. Now you're the lawyer and got a hell of a mind for all this stuff. Egg white. Toss the yolk and let's the weekend, in which case, put in the bowl in the fridge.
Put in the bowl in the fridge.
Seems to me like you're approaching this shooter from every angle but the deadly serious one. Oh, Geet. Customer says they prefer simple syrup. Let me know we won't serve them anymore. And consider that maybe the shooter wasn't there for Sosuke.
I told you they kicked me out after only a few minutes. No one's sending an assassin after me for that. It was whoever was there for the no mask, maybe.
Whiskey, black labor or hire.
Then shake the hell out of it.
Or the mouth can be deadly down there in the fog. I saw her leaving the building. Can easily become I saw her running away.
If someone wanted to get to me, a courtroom filled with cops would be a pretty shitty place to choose to do it.
Yeah, it might have been the only time and place they knew you'd be.
Damn. Huh. So he thinks that the assassin was there for Morgan.
I mean, for a garnish with charred cinnamon for smoky ambiance. Serve immediately. A bitter blessing.
Surely with that much lime, it's a sour blessing, no?
Want me to toss it out?
Thank you for the drink. But I'm nobody, Rain. No one's coming to get me. Nobody even knows I exist.
I hope you're right.
I am.
You won't know if you're wrong until it's too late. Bottoms up. Get all that, Sarah?
Yes, boss.
Hey, bottoms up is just an expression. You're supposed to sip it, for God's...
One last thing. Apparently Sosuke's captors talked about some kind of huntsman.
Little Lord's an open legend. Huntsman's a goddamn boogeyman. Orcas shooting the shit around burning tires. Trying to make the noobs afraid to go off and piss by themselves.
Right, so they're bullshit. I got the same answer elsewhere, but...
Oh, they're very real.
Pardon?
Huntsmen. Not a species native to our shores, thank God, but they're real.
You just said they're boogeymen.
Yeah, and the fact that they exist is what makes them so damn scary.
Are they some sort of assassin? Like Bresson, the shooter in the courtroom?
Nothing so concrete. Huntsmen are virtual shapeshifters. Feel a chill down your spine one night on your way home from work. Go to sleep. Wake up at night to a man wearing your own face, choking the life out of you. While he calls your mom from your locked phone across the room in your own voice. Like I said, they're all overseas, in more contested parts of the world where the blue bloods are better funded. You wouldn't pay for one of them to come into the country unless you had a really good use case for, or a weapon only they could take full advantage of.
Oh, shit. Well, I'll be sure to pass that on to Sosuke.
Why, so Sosuke can start writing his will?
I wouldn't bet against him, so long as he knows what he's up against. Urban legends are missed, but boogeymen are easy to kill. How do you kill a boogeyman? Same way I'd kill anyone else. With pleasure. Ah, damn, I want to see that fight. That sounds like it would kick ass. Oh, right. I actually need a recommendation from you.
What, kind of recommendation?
A bar, I think. Needs to be open tonight.
Oh, what are you looking for?
Well, it's, not for me, but, how much do you know about host clubs? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Just what I said. Can't enter the crime scene until you pass out security clearances. You've gotta be. You're a drug-pushing lowlife. Why would I need your permission to go anywhere? I take offense to that. I never worked in pharma.
Not the time to be a smartass. Reyes, it'll only take 30 seconds.
You're serious. This is reality. The city's expecting blue bloods to keep a crime scene secure. They're the ones committing the goddamn crimes! Hey, if that's your criteria, half the police force should be disqualified. Or is excessive force not a real crime? A battered spouse is not real victims? This assault's only assault when it's a real person on the receiving end.
Cyanus is legitimate, Reyes. All the paperwork's in order and signed by our bosses.
These idiots are walking around barehanded, knocking shit over, and leaving trash all over the goddamn place! Should we give them the badges while we're at it? Let them investigate crimes, too! We already investigate crime, sugar. You have any idea how many missing teeth there are in the lower wards? No, because we find them. Because we actually give a shit about the people who live down here. Oh, and I'm sure your prices are very generous. Better their parents get a bill from us and a letter of condolences from you. So sorry, ma'am, but he looked suspicious as he was running away.
Not helping. Reyes, let's calm down.
Sorry that I'm not calm when we got actual orcas stomping over the scene where a cop was murdered. The last I counted, there were 5 bodies upstairs. Are both your eyes broken? Or do you not just not recognize anyone without a badge as human? Perhaps we've come at a bad time. Nothing for it. Gotta strike while the iron's hot. The iron seems very hot in this instant, Adonai. Sorry to interrupt, folks. Don't mind me. I'll just go take another look upstairs. Do. Not you. Hey, why not? You nearly died once already today. Why not let these orcas give you the tour? Was that you giving me permission? No! You and Lawton should both be at a goddamn hospital or whatever getting debris. She doesn't need your permission. She is mine. Ma'am, you can go right ahead upstairs. Talk over me again and I'll break your finger. Is that ad recording right now? That sounded like a threat. You want to hear a threat? It is.
Clearly, this isn't gonna work. So, Han, why don't you head upstairs and wait for Morgan?
I don't take orders from you.
Who do you take orders from? Want me to give them a call? Let them know you're going around kicking hornets' nests and scratching your head over why everyone's getting stung?
Damn. Whatever. You think you can just walk away after the shit you just said? Turn around and...
Take a walk, Sunshine.
London, if you think for even one...
I'm not kidding, Farah. Take a walk.
Forget it. You can all go to hell for all I care. Oh, not you! For God's sake. Sorry about the bad timing.
No, that was gonna blow up no matter what. Situations like this require compromise. And Reyes is,
Uncompromising. At least you're around to balance her out. You might be the most compromised cop I've ever met. That was not a very nice thing to say.
And it shows you haven't met that many cops.
I'm surprised you're still welcome around here after what happened in the courtroom.
Huh? Oh, Bresson? The Blue Bloods are a big organization, and Bresson was pretty firmly on the other side. Guys like Han who work in the gray areas might as well live in a different world.
If you say so. I just didn't think the Mafia would allow the death of one of their own to go unanswered.
They sent him into a courtroom packed with police with a mounted arm that only had one shot. I don't think they're surprised he didn't make it back.
Will Detective Reyes be alright? She seemed very angry. More so than usual.
Yeah, she'll be alright. Blowing up, yelling, cursing, that's nothing. Perfectly healthy. It's the ones who go quiet you gotta worry about.
What brings you
What brings you back here anyway?
We're pursuing leads.
Sounds serious.
Anyone go digging into Chopin after my implications earlier today?
Lady Rockville will probably take it seriously if only to cross it off the list. But other than her, I think you mostly just piss people off. Lucky for you, I was able to convince some techs to confirm your soundproof windows theory, but don't expect to be welcome at City Hall anytime soon.
Hadn't counted on it. Whatever else he's innocent of, Chopin did get here before anyone else, and no one knows how.
Look, if we really did get some kind of coded message, a secret text. There's no trace of it in any comm logs or his personal devices. And it didn't come from any of the tech we've examined on site.
Have you found any secret passages on the premises?
Afraid not, little lady. Maybe you'll have better luck than me.
Secret passages? In what world? I mean, it's a gang hideout. It's not that far-fetched that there'll be secret passages. Like for escape and stuff like that. Was that your whole story back there in the courtroom? You and Reyes happened to be in the area?
If you don't want to take my word for it, Reyes will tell you the same thing.
It doesn't seem like she'd want to talk to Adonai at the moment. Can you tell me exactly what you two saw when you arrived?
The 10999 went out around 10:15 p.m. telling us that Chopin's heart had stopped. So we dashed across the street in an elevator. To an elevator. We were descending at 10:17 when Rogers reported that he was dead. At 10:21 p.m. we approached from the front of the building, saw the door ajar, lock blown in. And Sunshine and I started clearing the first floor.
You didn't hurry up to the third floor where the dead cop was. I knew you were going to say that, Olga.
Like I testified, Chopin had flatlined and his own partner had confirmed there was no false alarm. We knew we couldn't do anything for him. Rogers had already apprehended the suspect, so as SOP, we focused on securing the area and clearing the premises.
How level-headed. So the Officer Rogers we saw in court today really did take Sosuke down all by himself. Oh, goddamn. So the Officer Rogers we saw in court today really did take Suski down all by himself.
Yeah, charged in and pistol whipped him right on the head.
I assume that you found the first floor was, in fact, clear.
Yeah, all these vaults were empty.
You didn't wait for Cyanus to show up with the spare keys. Surprised you didn't throw your back out kicking down doors.
Sunshine helped. Besides, they weren't all locked.
Really? Huh. They weren't.
Yeah, I remember that, that one right there was unlocked. Room 107. Nothing inside there either, though. Guess the Blue Bloods missed a lock on a nightly roundup or something.
Cyanus has unlocked every door in the building at this point. But when I first walked down this hall and when I walked out the front door later, how did this hall look then?
If you do manage to find some kind of silent alarm, I'll be impressed. If you prove that Chopin was dirty, you'll be floored. But even then, how the hell are you gonna convince a jury that anyone other than Sosuke killed him?
It'll be difficult without accounting for the 4 dead Blue Bloods as well. But if you take it all as one set, starts seeming plausible as an internal issue, don't you think?
What do you? You want to pitch this as the young bloods and the old guard going at it? Over what?
The juicy bait that Chopin literally died over. Proposition 492. We know way too little about Rogers. We definitely need to find out more about Rogers for sure. I'm sure he's gonna be on the stand, for real. He's also a suspect for sure.
What's there to disagree about? That project would put money in everyone's pockets.
If my theory's correct and Chopin was killed because the young bloods didn't want the old guard abandoning them, the old guard has always hedged their bets on the little lord returning. Does that mean the Red Ink plans to profit off Prop 492 were a Youngblood conspiracy? Those papers were tucked inside Creek's safe before I arrived.
Whoa, good hunting.
You won't be joining us?
Not this time. I gotta go pump the brakes on Sunshine before she finds a bar. Try not to piss off the Blue Bloods with any more wild accusations while I'm gone.
I would never.
Take care. And that goes doubly for you, Sparky.
What does Sparky mean, by the way?
It's a nickname, 'cause you're so bright.
A nickname?
I guess people are always calling you ads whatever they like, huh? Sorry. Should have asked first.
What do you mean?
I'll just call you Sarah.
But it's my nickname. You gave it to me. You can't just take it back.
Well, okay then, Sparky.
She actually likes it. So cute. So cute! What the hell? Did you eat spearmint that much?
I would never want to seem ungrateful.
Seems like the smell's starting to fade. Barely even the memory of blood now that so many feet have trodden through here. Nothing lasts forever.
Miss Hahn,
What?
no
Power to call to this morning. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're being paranoid. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'll call you tonight. Bye. Didn't mean to interrupt another lover's quarrel. What? Oh, no, that was, dementia meds aren't working. They get confused this time of day. Oh, sorry. Forget it. That's what I'm gonna do. 'Cause I'm gonna turn my phone off for a minute and forget. Cute intro, by the way. So what's up? There's a couple of ways of going about this, but none of them are surefire. Might as well start out big and see if there's anything to this theory. Do the Blue Bloods use silent alarms? Yeah, of course.
thank you for telling us.
Sure. I'm actually going to need a bit more than that, Miss Hahn. It's just Hahn. Did Creek have a silent alarm? She's hesitating all of a sudden. Is she unsure of the answer? Or did she just give her first answer without thinking about where it would lead? Nothing like that installed in the building. Arcs would have chewed up and spat it out by now.
The Ox is not flawless. It can miss things.
Look, you seen the level of tech we Blue Bloods have? It's secure, but it ain't subtle.
True.
An Orca-run security firm wouldn't have quite as much luck hiding their subsystems from the police as David Asher did, Sarah.
But the Ox can miss things that aren't tech at all.
A silent alarm that's analog? Ha! Let me know if you figure that one out, sugar. Either not alarm's analog and loud or digital and silent. They don't mix. She's defensive, but her logic is sound. Approaching it from the other angle, then, how could an analog silent alarm possibly function? Maybe like a smoke alarm? Like a smoke signal kind of thing. A literal alarm, but one that can't be heard under normal circumstances.
What a horrible smell in here.
Like a dog whistle. You once bragged to me about your sense of smell.
I don't think I was bragging.
Could have sworn you puffed your chest out at the time. Doesn't matter. If I asked you to sniff something out, could you find it?
What would you like me to look for?
I still don't have a clear picture of what happened after I left. But there's one thing I know it should be here that hasn't turned up once yet.
The knife.
Right. I'm the only one who knows about the knife. And while I don't know where it went, I do know it had plenty of blood on it when I last saw it. I want you to smell for blood.
Adonai, do you really need me to help you find blood in here?
I'm not asking you to sniff in here. I want you to smell out the window.
I'll try. There are many strong smells in this part of the city, Adonai. But there is something truly unpleasant as well. Something beneath this fire escape. Ah, the dumpster.
Okay. Now go fetch.
You could ask nicely.
Wait, Sarah.
Yes?
That's a very old, rusted fire escape. Take the stairs. You're too heavy.
As you command, Adonai.
Honesto. Ah, jeez. Several minutes later, Sarah returned, looking worse for wear and seemingly... in a bad mood. Did the weight comment bother her that much?
Adonai, I do not like digging through trash. It is not a dignified way to investigate.
Digging in people's trash is the basis of all good investigation.
Easy for you to say when you are wearing all white.
Did you find something?
Yes.
My knife. And it's... charred.
I found it amongst the ashes of a blackened steel drum below the fire escape. It seems to have been the site of a fire.
That sounds familiar. Wasn't there a barrel burning in the alley when I first scoped the place out?
There were signs of a chemical flame retardant being applied to the barrel.
Police must have put the fire out when they first secured the scene. Meaning the knife wasn't in a fire all night, but still.
There does indeed appear to be blood on this knife, Adonai. So how did both the police and Cyanus miss it?
Their noses aren't as good as yours, evidently.
That is true. But they have drones and dogs for this kind of thing.
Yes, but they have to actually use them. They'd have no reason to search the vicinity for a bloodied knife if they found a sword sticking out of a corpse's midsection.
Shall we ask the police to check for fingerprints?
Fingerprints are mostly oil and sweat. Fire evaporates them both.
Then
we have to test and see whose blood is on that knife.
but DNA is damaged by heat as well.
You know, before DNA analysis, blood had another forensic use.
You mean blood typing?
The DNA on the knife might be too damaged, but modern analytical tools should be able to at least identify blood typing.
That could work, Adonai.
Great. Ready to get started?
Pardon?
You were capable of recognizing my DNA, weren't you?
When we first met, yes, but
So why don't you try your hand at analyzing blood type? It's gotta be simpler, right?
It might be, but at night, to analyze the blood in this knife, I would have to use my
Pretend it's a lollipop or something.
It's blood.
Well done, blood. It'll taste like beef.
You don't know what human blood tastes like.
Of course I don't. Look, the fire sanitized it, probably. Just get it over with.
I will reference this the next time we discuss phrases, Adonai.
Fine by me. Because that's never happening. Analyzing flavor profile.
Analysis complete.
Oh god. What have you got?
There is blood from more than one person present. Mostly B-, I believe. With some AB- around the tip.
Alright, now I can cross-reference that with the rest of the data I have. Thank you for the report, Sarah. Hey, a use for profiles. Ooh, oh, he got stabbed. Oh, it's totally him. Not his blood. A lot of typos. That's checking for literally everybody here. Alright, here we go. B-. Yeah, that makes sense. She's also a B-. Let's see, were any of them AB? Sosuke is also AB-. Huh. Sosuke and Rogers have the same blood type. Alright, so who's B-? Who in this case is B-? I wonder, did Chopin try to kill him with the knife? That was Miller. I think she killed him with the knife. Thank you for the report, Sarah. You've given me a new lead to follow.
Yes, Adonai.
And you've just made your first forensic contribution to an ongoing criminal investigation. How many androids can say that? Now come on, we've got some boxes to tick. So this is where they found Creek's body.
Oh, so this is where they found Creek's body.
He was the only one who didn't die instantly. If anyone had a chance to use a silent alarm... No, he must have been paralyzed in between the time he was shot and his actual expiration.
They weren't paralyzed.
What do you mean?
If they had been paralyzed, Yumi would have noted that in her autopsy.
That's true. But he just sat there limp this whole time. Didn't even try to move. He was playing dead? Letting me think he couldn't move so I wouldn't notice his... Was anything found in his hands? Anything at all?
It doesn't seem like it. They weren't holding something by the time their body got to the morgue.
If he had been holding something, but dropped it when he died... Help me look.
For what?
Anything small enough to fit into the palm of your hand. Hang on, what's this? That looks like a silent alarm. What was that? Did you just jump?
I was merely surprised by that sound, Adonai.
What sound? I just brushed against this... Huh. It is like a dog whistle. This little toy thing. You can hear it?
I can. And it's not exactly pleasant on the ears.
Could any android hear it, or is this some special feature David gave you?
I'd imagine any android or robot or electronic device with modern features could pick up on this tone.
Maybe I should close the window before I test it anymore, and stop torturing all the dogs in the neighborhood.
Closing the window would not matter.
It's soundproof, though.
But the specific frequency of this tone is not in your audible spectrum to begin with.
Right.
But do you really think Crick was toying with that nuisance maker in their final moments?
Sorry, back. Here we go.
Our client, Sosuke. According to Rogers, this is how we found him.
Thrusting the sword into Chopin.
Or merely trying to retrieve it.
Not a huge improvement there.
He really was found in a terrible state, wasn't he?
And that was before the police gave him his cop killer welcoming and... Sarah, bring up the medical files on Sosuke. I want to go over everything we know about how he looked when Rogers arrested him.
What specifically?
Blood. He was covered in blood, right? Were samples taken for analysis?
The blood on his torso and head was all his own. He got some of Chopin's blood on him when he was face down, being cuffed by Officer Rogers. And he also had a great deal of trace blood on his feet and pant legs.
How exactly was he injured?
His left hand was broken. He had internal bleeding throughout his torso. Bruising and rope burns on his wrists where he was bound. Contusions all over the anterior side of his body. And he also sustained a large blunt force trauma wound on the back of his head.
His biggest wound was to the back of his head? I guess if he fell backwards to the ground.
There is also a small cut on his left hand.
Is that a swordsman's wound? How small?
As if he cut himself in the kitchen.
I think that might be a swordsman's wound. Wasn't expecting a metaphor there, but it's effective enough.
Any other questions about our client's arrest, Adonai?
Not unless there are some crime scene photos you've been holding out on me.
I'm afraid not.
How is it that I'm the only one who made an effort to preserve the crime scene?
Ankortan. Supposedly he was the first to die.
Logically, he had to have been. He's the one who had the gun. If an attacker got it away from him, they must have done so first.
Yes. I can see the gun is registered to him.
Right. Registered. Who the hell would look at this guy with that gun and just nod him along?
Patrol officers TC and HR. 1 week ago.
What? Whoa. They met him. Really? TC and HR. Tariq Chopin and Huey Rogers. Holy schnapps.
The badge numbers match. It seems like they detained Ankortan briefly during a stop and frisk and found this gun on him.
Finding a gun like this on anyone with priors during a stop and frisk. At the very minimum, that's ground for 28 days detainment. Why'd they just let him go?
Is it possible that he was a criminal informant?
If he was a CI, they wouldn't have even logged the incident. And besides, patrol officers don't have their own CIs.
Then perhaps they let him go for some other reason.
Because they've already got what they wanted from him. Make sure to copy the file of that stop and frisk report.
Right away. Reading protocol, designed to make data difficult to physically redistribute.
Couldn't anyone just take out their phone and snap a picture of the pages?
It seems that some of the responding officers attempted to. The arcs show that they failed.
That's some fancy ink. What do you see when you look at the pages then?
No more detail than you do, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
It's strange, isn't it? They went to such lengths to protect this information. And yet these papers were left out where Officer Chopin or anyone could read them.
They weren't left there by Creek. I took the documents out of his safe so I could reach the mask. They must have left them out on the desk afterwards. I wonder if like that's a reason why, like because he saw those documents, something happened. Huh. Hmm. There's gotta be something else. We always know there is. It's a piece of crap some crime scene tech left behind. Nothing relevant about it.
Yes, you're right. It's just like a news article they must have been reading. Apparently they've arrested the Heartbreak Killer. It's copycat. Yes. The Heartbreak Killer's copycat. And it seems...
Just let me skim it for myself. Suspected heartbreak copycat foiled, arrested. An individual suspected of planning an act of terror has been arrested thanks to quick response from local police and well-coordinated efforts from state investigators. The suspect, whose identifying information has not been released to the public, was apprehended by officers seemingly in the midst of preparing their attack, having already loaded a firearm and several magazines of ammunition into their vehicle. Police have not commented on whether the firearm in question was properly tagged, but insiders with close ties to the investigation claim the weapon itself was not what led to the arrest. We had identified a troubling pattern of net activity in the days leading up to the arrest, concerning searches and attempt to access old net portals. The suspect had already been on our radar by that point, so when they posted that manifesto, we were able to quickly secure a warrant for their arrest. The alleged manifesto in question consists of what was, at the time, publicly accessible online document praising Heartbreak's hardline stance against neoliberal corporate soft power, and listing a number of complaints and criticisms against the recent business decisions made by Hanami Robotics. Most notably, an announcement made on their last earnings call that would begin moving manufacturing jobs offshore. While the decision landed Hanami in some controversy at the time, their stock price steadily increased the days after, reflecting optimism among shareholders that Hanami's lucrative product lines of mostly heavy construction robots would no longer be so strictly tied to national politics. When the arrest was first made, no clear connection between the individual and Hanami was apparent, but Hanami's CFO had since been seen speaking at an investor conference at a hotel within 50 kilometers of the suspect's residence, suggesting a possible target. The takeaway here is that terrorist acts like this one are easily caught, easily prevented, and there's no standing risk to the public, said lead investigator Kennings in his official statement to the press. To any dissidents out there thinking of their next heartbreak just because you bought a gun, you will be caught. You'll be prosecuted and your hero won't be far behind. Update. Hanami Robotics has yet to respond to requests for comment, but their official social media accounts have released simultaneous statements denouncing in the strongest terms rising violence and thanking investigators for their swift and decisive action. We had also learned that a select portion of shareholders have received messages clarifying Hanami's global market strategy and reaffirming their commitment to their workers as well as their customers and shareholders, whether it's an indication of reversal of their decision to relocate manufacturing jobs overseas. Does it change what you feel about Hanami Robotics, like what you're reading? What if you had access to stories like this even days before the rest of the public? Seems like heartbreak isn't going away.
no matter what happened to the original.
So it would seem. That about wraps it up here. I will be right back. I gotta take care of something really quick. All right, we are back. Just a couple more and we'll wrap up for today. Maybe once we leave this area. Damn, I just realized Han is like a kind of like a bullet wound right here. Miss Han, since Sionis is technically in charge of securing the crime scene, what should we do with this? With this? Do with what? Oh, she got... Huh. Oh, that affected her phone. Ah, that was the signal. Adonai, please refrain from pressing that button any more than necessary. Sorry, Sarah, I can see you don't like it. But Miss Han's phone doesn't seem to like it either. It's just Han. And I don't know what you're talking about. I get messages all the time. Han, ma'am, if you could just please admit it so that she stops pressing that. Fine, whatever. Yes, you found one of our alarms. Pretty clever system. Not really, just snap. Set the frequency and get a note if the app picks it up. The range? Couple kilometers. Well, thanks for clearing that up. While I have you here, though, exactly how fast did you show up to the scene of the crime? Yeah, she's definitely a suspect. Pardon? This is a blue blood neighborhood. Do you really expect people to believe the cops lumbered their way here faster than any of you could? What exactly are you trying to say? Yeah, I'm tuned to that frequency. But I'm tuned to a lot of frequencies. That's a good way of communicating without the megs of the pigs listening in. So you didn't get this alarm the night of the incident? Didn't even know it went off that night. Got proof it did? Can you explain how else Officer Chopin could have gotten here? Nah, not my job to either. Is it your job to come to a fellow Blue Blood's aid when they're desperately calling for help? I didn't know Creek like that. I didn't say Creek was the one who had this. I saw where you were poking around, and they're the head of the pot. I assumed. Creek's a stranger to me. Even though you're both young bloods. Whoa. I'm guessing that's what that tattoo means. Neither of you make much effort to hide it. It is plainly visible, even in their autopsy photos. You have no idea what this thing means! Would you tell us what it means? Blood bag. What? The old guard uses you as donors. Oh, the old guard use you as donors. Damn. Gangsters live a life of drugs, smoking, drinking, and back alley mods. Then end up with livers and kidneys that look like charred steak. Who could have guessed? Got no children because the Acadia killed them all. Can't get on the donor list because they're geriatric, reviled crime lords. What do? Hey kid, wanna be a gangster? Let me see if you got what it takes. Hold still while I prick your finger. Damn. They tattooed our torsos, because even if you mod off all 4 limbs, still pump clean plasma. Every drop an indicator of quality. I'm a universal donor, so I got 3. AAA graded, just like meat. And creek, save for the trial, lady. Are we done here, you think? Not quite. Yeah, that extra room. Emma's argument is that Sosuke didn't escape from here. He was brought out into the other room to be questioned, and then he broke free. I know that's not true. Sosuke would have been stuck here until the police arrived if I hadn't handed him the Mag US to, well, frame him. And the knife also to frame him, but secondarily that he could have cut himself free from his bindings. Those bloody rags there. Remember what Sosuke told us when we first met? That he was bound in here with old time until his bad Samaritan came along? And gave him a knife. Now we know what knife he was talking about. And now I want to know whose blood this is. The blood on the bindings? It would have to belong to Sosuke, wouldn't it? All the other bodily fluids in this room do. Probably. But I need to know. You've already done it once. What's one more time? One more time will surely make me sick. Please, Adonai, let us ask one of the science employees on standby to analyze it. They have a record for very fast turnaround on DNA tests, I promise. I can show you customer reviews. That's right. Cyanus does DNA testing. Typically paternity tests, as part of their private investigative services. But they have been assisting the police with DNA analysis around the scene. I will flag the bindings to be analyzed. Wait. I've already made the request, hadn't I? If you insist on making me taste the binding myself now, you will only be upsetting my stomach to satisfy your own impatience. Fine. But I'm going to cite this incident the next time we discuss arrays. Oh. Really is a shithole in here, though, huh? I would agree with your sentiment, if not your choice of words. It feels like a cruel place. What is it? Was there something we missed in here, Adonai? No, not in here. The windows. They were closed when Creek was shot. Still closed when Chopin and Rogers arrived on site. But they were open by the time Rogers got to this room. I use that contradiction to argue for the presence of a third party. Because someone must have opened them. To go down the fire escape. And then what? They must have dropped down to the alley and ran away, right? Or re-entered the building. Yes, That's one option.
What's the other?
Would it kill them to do some sweeping around here? I guess that would be contaminating the crime scene at this point. But then what all those cops and Cyanus chumps actually do? Lean on walls and screw around on their phones?
I think you're being a bit harsh in your assessment. But you aren't alone in your criticism. Detective Reyes has much to say about how Cyanus employees were not wearing gloves and...
knocking over trash. If they had picked up trash, that'd be removing evidence. The arcs would light up. Adding trash, though?
Adonai,
Help me look through this.
garbage again? Already?
Just start looking.
If any of it requires DNA analysis...
Wait, there. Red.
I don't smell any blood.
Not blood. Ink.
A torn page of the Reading documents. With what looks like a shoe print on it. Shall we try and match it to samples?
Good luck. Cops and security types all wear the same kind of boots. On top of which 99 out of 100 shoes in the city are made by the same two Megs.
But if the print isn't useful, that just leaves the actual text, and that...
Looks like the letters were all run through the wash a couple dozen too many times.
Well, it isn't particularly informative. And I don't understand exactly how this clue fits in with everything else we've seen. But doesn't this seem important? How could it have been lying here neglected this whole time?
Nah, princess. I'll have to call you right back. Of course, wouldn't dream then. Come on. You know me. What'd you find there? More dead man's garbage? Keep it up and you girls are gonna make me look bad. Happy to be of assistance. So, would you like to add this to the arcs, or should I? Well, seems like you got momentum going, so... Please don't let me get in your way. You don't wear gloves on the job, Miss Hum? It's just Hum, but you already knew that. Probably also know they don't really make them my size. So if we found your fingerprints in here on those windows or even upstairs... Oh man, I'd be pretty embarrassed. We almost always get rated 5 stars. So did you need me to walk you out? I'll be fine, thanks. Suit yourself. Just be careful you don't get lost. The sun will be going down soon. It can be hard to find your way back in the dark. Yes, okay. This idea is starting to look like a pretty safe bet.
Your theory that Chopin was assassinated is an attack on the Old Guard. But how can we confirm it? We still haven't met anyone from the Old Guard. Though even if we had, it occurs to me they'd be reluctant to speak with Sosuke Akari's legal team.
Don't be so pessimistic. The enemy of my enemy is usually willing to at least talk. And talk is where I do all my best work.
Where do we look then?
You still got the address boss gave us? Alright, you guys. Blue blood territory. All right, you guys, I think we're gonna have to stop here for today. We'll continue this next Tuesday unless I get sick again. Hopefully I won't. Because I really want to see where this is going. Is it Han? It looks like they're setting it up to be her. So, but it seems pretty clear cut already. That, it seems like she seems like an obvious suspect at the moment. So we'll see where that goes. I can't wait. So, I'll do some more, Tokyo's Energy tomorrow, and I'll see y'all next time. So until then, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You are all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.